Hi, I'm Jill Clifton of Landscape of Mothers, and today I want to talk about another skill or tool, a tool really, that you can use when things feel difficult. And I kind of wanted to do the video outside because it involves a tree, but it's a little windy, so here I am. I just used this one the other day because I was feeling like I was kind of getting to my edges of my capacity to deal with the things that were happening. And I realized I just needed a minute, like I needed a timeout. So a little bit like some of these other technique videos, I sort of instituted that pause, right? I kind of interrupted the things that were happening so that I didn't get caught in them, because I could kind of feel that rising up of my energy in me, right? Like I can start to feel like things are coming towards my shoulders or my head. So I decided I really needed a tree. So I went to the park and I stood next to a tree, and this is the visualization that I kind of did that allowed me to kind of reclaim my energy. So what I did was I found a tree that was tall enough that the canopy was above my head so that I could kind of fit in under it. And I walked in kind of close to the trunk of the tree, and I made sure it was a decent sized tree, right? This one was probably about this big around. So it wasn't giant, but it was substantial. It felt big enough to be strong and rooted, right? Like it felt permanent and stable. I mean, permanent as trees are. And so I just went and stood underneath the canopy. So the canopy was above me. I stood really close to this really strong feeling trunk. And I started by imagining the roots underneath the ground, right? So I had this sense that there were roots going down from the trunk and then spreading out under the ground and going deep. And I just kind of tapped into that energy of the depth and the breadth of roots, the solidity and the anchoring that they do. And so I just breathed into that feeling of the roots. And so almost literally, like in my mind, going into the trunk of the tree and going down underneath the roots and finding that sense of holding and stability. And then I could feel the way that or I know that the roots will bring in water and nutrients and move it up the tree, up the trunk, up into the canopy above, and then spread out into the canopy, right? Feeding each of the leaves in turn out on the tree, providing the water, the like suppleness or like life of it. And then knowing that, of course, the photosynthesis is happening in the leaves, so this activity in this space. And then I could kind of feel how the canopy kind of comes depending on the tree, kind of comes out and down a little. The roots kind of spread out and and some of them stay near the surface. So there was this sense that the leaves were reaching for the upcoming, the upturned roots. And there was this sense of the energy flowing like from the roots up through the canopy of the tree, or up through the trunk of the tree, out into the canopy, and then almost like connecting back into the roots where they would gather and pull that energy back in, along with the waters, and then flow it up the tree and out and around spreading out in the canopy. And so there was this sense that I could imagine that I was contained inside of like a sphere, right? That the energy of the tree kind of made a sphere, and I could stand in that and just sort of regulate toward that tree. So that was my visualization that helped me identify with the tree or find an energetic synergy with the tree, and to tap into those things that the tree had that I needed, right? A sense of rootedness, a sense of stability, a sense of being held. So that, for me, that's the visualization that helps me do that. It's well known that, that there's lots of different like forest therapies and ecotherapies. And so that trees provide for us this sense of calming. And some of it is about its chemistry. Some of it is about its we could think of it as energy the way that I did. And it doesn't necessarily matter so much how you visualize it, but in some way that you can step into the natural cycle of the tree and find your way into the things so that you can recognize back in yourself the things that the tree has that you're looking for. Often when I go to trees, it's for that rootedness, that stability, that sense of reaching for spirit, but in that grounded way. And so that's sort of how I will sometimes step into nature in a way that's very specifically about regulating my own nervous system, very specifically about taking care of myself. And you don't have to be, like I said before, you don't have to be that pointed or intentional about it. I'm just offering you the possibility of that, because I think with that intentionality, we can step into it quickly sometimes when that's what we need. If we only have a brief moment, it's helpful to sort of solidify the whole thing very quickly. And I just encourage you to go out and spend time in nature in those moments that you're feeling unrooted or feeling ungrounded or like agitated. So as the energy rises and that nature is there for some of that recentering. So I hope that helps. I'd be happy if you let me know in the comments if that's something that resonates for you, or if in some way it offers permission, which you don't need my permission to do anything, but sometimes it helps to know that somebody else does it too, right? It feels a little more normalized. For other kind of regulatory ways or ways to interact with different mothers, you can look to Landscape of Mothers. It's a way of sort of utilizing nature and bringing it into archetype form, so that there's both this experience part that I'm talking about in this video, and there's also a sense of being held in a story or an archetype. And if that interests you, you can look into the book, Landscape of Mothers. You can find it on Amazon or any other online bookseller, and or you can go to landscapeofmothers.com. Thanks.